I would like to introduce my next panelist, Kevin Kaija. But you people first clap for Barbara. And now Kevin's clap. Kevin Kaija is a media executive with over a decade of experience shaping Uganda's media landscape with a proven track record of success. Kevin has held various roles. Currently, she's serving as the Chief Content Officer for Next Media and General Manager for both Afromobile and NBL. Throughout her career, Kevin has been driven by a passion for harnessing the power of media to drive positive change. She's dedicated to creating impactful content and innovative solutions that inspire, educate, and empower audiences. Kevin continues to stay true to her commitment to use media as a force for good. You're most welcome, Kevin, and nice to see you. And if I could move to Kevin now. Kevin, Next Media boasts of being one of the best multimedia...
The biggest.
Okay, yeah, she wants me to say the biggest multimedia player in the industry. I would like you to speak to that. How then they effectively use data to integrate audience into those platforms. Okay. If I can say it again, how do you integrate data into your multiple platforms and reach out to different audiences?
Okay, so yes, I work for Next Media as the Chief Content Officer, which is the largest media group in East Africa. We hope to expand our wings into the rest of Africa very soon. But yes, data. Data for us as media is centric to our role that we play. We cannot design products or profile anything without data. So for all of the products that we create, whether it's a TV station independently or a radio station, for us to curate content that speaks to the people that we are targeting with those products, we must have adequate data. So we use data to get the demographics, to understand how many people live in what region, what kind of information do they need, how many males or females are interested in what nature of product, and then we are able to design. But different from other products, we have two types of audiences as media. We have the audiences that we call eyeballs and the audiences or customers that pay us money. So for either of those, we must have accurate data to create solutions for them that work for both us and the customer, who is either the audience, the eyeball, or the people that pay us money to access the eyeballs. So data is very centric to us. We are able to design, for instance, a sports channel, but even in designing that sports channel, we must have the understanding on who our core target audience is. Is it a male? Of what age bracket? Where do they hang out? What are their preferences? What is their salary scale? And all of those things. That then informs us on what kind of TV shows, on what kind of engagements we need to make with them to be able to curate accurately for them in terms of content. And then that data is what we use to approach the advertisers who are clients here in the room. I see most of them here, to approach them and speak to them and say, you can place your money here because there is value, because we have created a TV show that speaks to the kind of people that you're trying to reach. And if you place your product here, you're going to have enough eyeball and conversion will be easy for you.
Thank you. This one definitely we need to pay attention to, Kevin. Of course, with increased focus on data collection comes the concern about data privacy, that we've even seen policies come up around that. Now, for where you work that has multiple platforms, how do you ensure compliance with regulation in terms of gathering personal data, protecting it, and aspects of maybe providing it to third parties?
Okay, so in terms of regulation and data protection for us, obviously the first line is that we are regulated by bodies like QCC, and that mandates us to work within certain confines of the industry as stipulated by their policies. But even beyond that internally, as an ISO certified company, we have policies and structures that guide how data is collected, how it is kept, and how it is redistributed if there is ever need for that. And on top of that, we also have a whole unit that takes care of that data, how that data is processed, who accesses it in terms of layers, but also what technology protects it. But we also understand that all of these systems and structures are bound to be abused by human beings. It's who we are by nature. Somebody will find data and just want to give it to the next person to use it for whatever motive they intend to use it. So we have very, very strict policies and repercussions and consequences on what will happen if data is abused or leaked or taken advantage of in a manner that we did not intend to use it.
Can you just give an example of one of these very, very, very strict policies? Just to give us the confidence to stay with your platforms.
Unfortunately, I'm bound by company policies still not to trade some
No, for
of this.
instance, if I logged up to one of your apps, like AfroMobile
Yes.
is one of yours, what confidence do I have as a user that, for instance, my phone number stays private, my data, my preferences, the kind of things I search for remain between me and you, my service provider?
So again, like I said earlier, there are layers of access to that data, and the different layers of access require different layers of I don't know what to use, but of authorization. Yes, thank you. So for somebody to access that kind of data, they must have certain authorizations and passwords for them to log into that system. And we are able to track who was on that system, when they were on that system, what they did with that data. So in the event that they abuse the data, we know where to go and what to do after that in terms with our company policy and structures.
Thank you.
So the thing about digital data and the challenges that we face with it is that, one, there are multiple platforms, but all of these platforms require internet for us to engage with the people that we target. And it is true that we are still an internet-poor country. So in as much as digital data gives us a bit more leverage over the traditional data, because ideally, if you put up a poll today and it was running for 48 hours, you could get an engagement of, say, 20,000, 18,000, or 15,000. Quite rarely will you get a sample space of that size with the traditional research methods. But it could be better. The problem is we are an internet-poor country, so for somebody to come to your poll or to answer a survey form, they would rather use their data for something else that's more productive to them, because they know this data is for your benefit. They don't know how they benefit out of it at the end of the day. But even beyond that, the digital space is very volatile. The algorithms just keep changing every day. And in as much as there are tools, like he said, which I completely agree, are very expensive to use to merge this data and understand it and mine it and use it effectively. But the audience patterns and the algorithms are equally volatile. Today, the things that they wanted last quarter are not the things that they want this quarter. And you constantly have to be there to understand what they need. So, but it's a learning curve, because every day there is a new thing, and you have to just keep up with the pace.
Yes, as we hope so too, and I'll move to Kevin. Kevin, you could weave in, Irene's issues were mostly a comment on definitional matters, but also she raises the point on practical implementation of things, which is related to the question on measurement, effectiveness of the campaign, and those practical examples on how we measure the share of voice, impressions, awareness level, these key performance indicators. Could you speak to that?
I believe measurement and indicators help us to check whether our sentiments as the product owners are accurate or there are fixes that we need to do. Digitally, there are several ways that you can do that. You could measure sentiment through engagement with a post. You could measure sentiment through a poll, through a survey, and several other factors. But beyond that, for you to get accurate data, you need to know that the methodology you're using is actually accurate. The platform you're using to target the people that you're trying to reach is the right platform, and that the objective for that particular research is properly aligned and agreed. Then once that data comes, you're able to do a deep dive and actually look at deeper thematic areas around it to check if your sentiments are accurate or not, what areas you need to improve, which products you need to push better, which ones can you shelve, and stuff like that. Because data sometimes comes at us in such an overwhelming way, which is true to itself as big data, but we need to get back into looking at it more scientifically to check for factors that influence the decisions that we need to make strategically.
Thank you.